everyone. I do believe you can hear me, but please do not unmute yourself. Today we'll be having the 7th seminar of the Center of Excellence in Migration and Global Studies. Kindly do not unmute yourself if you are not a presenter. Do not unmute yourself. Dr. Uguala, please do not unmute yourself. As I was saying, this is the 7th presentation. 7th presentation, and today's presenter is Dr. Afolonsho Aderele, or Aderele Afolonsho of the Department of Computer Science, Faculty of Science, National University of Nigeria. I do appreciate each and every one of you for finding the time to join us. As we join, kindly mute ourselves. Do not unmute until the presenter has finished. You can hear me loud and clear. And if you have, yes, if you have, thank you, Professor Emeritus Sogolo, for giving us that push and supporting us and for always being there. I think I saw Professor Moniolua Olani, the Dean of the Faculty of Science. Thank you, ma'am. And of course, our regular also, Dr. Omuberi, HOD Communication, Dr. Oguola, Dr. Jubril Omar, Dr. Yebode, Dr. Francis Hagu, a senior fellow who has also given a distinguished presentation in the past, Dr. O'Neill. As I'm recognizing you, I'm trying to wind up to 11 a.m. And trust me, at 11 we will start. Dr. Agumbiade, another regular, Dr. Mark Ozigbo, please chat or let me know through the chat or by physically or virtually using the Emicon. I think I saw Professor Joktan, and a lot of other people. If I didn't mention any, kindly forgive me. I will unmute all of us for now. Let me see, somebody is sending. Yes, I chose to. Dr. Aderele, if you are in the house, kindly let me know. It's 1 minute to 11 a.m. The title of our presentation is Cyberspace and Migration, Contextualizing the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's quite timely and interesting topic. Yesterday on Africa News, a particular program called Inspire focused a little bit on this topic. And also this morning, the issue of migration, it has cyber movement, and the varieties of migration was also the subject of discussion on NTA Good Morning. You can see how relevant we are. But let me also say this, that Let me also say this, that that this particular center is multidisciplinary, and that we look forward to everyone contributing, both internal, that is, if you are an employee of the National Open University, as well as colleagues from other universities. You just have to email us and let us know so that we can set it up. I think Dr. Adenrele is ready. And at this point, I will allow Dr. Adenrele to unmute herself. Look for you and unmute you, and then you can. Dr. Afolonsho, you have the floor.
Okay. Good morning, Director.
You can go ahead, man.
Good morning, Director CEMGS. Good morning, fellow colleagues. The topic of I am Adenrele Afolonsho from the Department of Computer Science, National Open University of Nigeria.
Kindly move on to your audio. It seems they cannot hear you properly.
Okay.
Thank you, man. Continue.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I'm from the Department of Computer Science, National Open University, and the title of the paper is Cyberspace and Migration, Contextualizing the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And the outline is has been displayed. Now I want to quickly define some terms, and some of the terms is amplification. Amplification is the replacement of websites and web pages with programs that run on mobile operating system and mobile devices. Then trafficking in person, which is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring of and receipt of persons by means of the threat or use of force and other forms of coercion or abduction, of fraud and deception, or the abuse of power in order to exploit these people to gain some financial benefits. And this is quite related with cyber trafficking. And cyber trafficking is the transport of persons by means of computer system, internet services, mobile device, local bulletin board service, or any device capable of electronic data storage and transmission to coerce, deceive, and consent to the purpose of exploitation. So from this definition, we can see that cyber trafficking is just the electronic version of human trafficking. And there's also a term that I didn't put there, which is cyber migration. Cyber migration is different from cyber trafficking because cyber migration is the migration of persons from one social network platform to the other. Like when I change my chat network now from WhatsApp to email, or I change from my email from Google to Yahoo, that is a cyber migration. Introduction. Migration is not exclusive to human. Animals to migrate, and even plants, any living being migrates. Even plants, they migrate because we move them from one place and transfer them to the other. But in this seminar, we are only concerning ourselves with the migration of people, and it is therefore defined as the movement of a person or group of persons to settle in another place, often across a political or administrative boundary. So migration can be temporal or permanent, and it may be voluntary or forced due to some situation, maybe like war and so on, famine and so on. And according to Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations 2007 to 2016, migration is an expression of the human aspiration for dignity, safety, and a better future, and it is part of the social fabric and part of our very makeup as a human family. We migration, we have counter-urbanization, we have immigration, which is when you move from your home country, and we have immigration, those are the migrants and the destination country, and we have internal migration like moving from Lagos to Abuja. We have international migration from one country to the other, and we have rural urban migration, which is from moving from maybe my village to Abuja, for instance. And counter-urbanization is when you move from an urban area like a city to a village, maybe for a better peaceful living. We also have the drivers of a migration, which we refer to as the push factor and the pull factor. The push factor is the factors in the present residence that induces you to move to another place, like maybe unemployment, like a lack of some services and amenities, like flooding, drought, poverty, war. Sometimes it might even be discontentment, it might be greed, and recently we have seen that some of these youths with nefarious activity on the internet, like Yahoo, they normally move from their place of residence to another place of residence in order to hide their illegal source of income, so that the people at home will not know that they are not doing anything, they are just getting rich. Then we have the pull factor, which is the factor at the other end, the destination place, that attracts you to move there. Maybe better service provision, low crime rates, good food supply, political security, greater wealth and affluence, better condition of living, attractive climate, and sometimes maybe some rosy reports that you hear from friends and relations that have traveled there. You want to go there. There is a world key migration statistics, and according to that migration data portal, we have presently, as at 2019, 271.6 million immigrants all over the world, and this is the 3.5% of the total population of the world. And also in Nigeria, we have 1.3 million. And if we look at the difference between immigrants and emigrants, then we see that more people are migrating from Nigeria than people that are migrating into Nigeria, because we have a negative 300,000 when we subtract the emigrants from the immigrants. Impact of migration on both home and destination countries. We have in the home country, in the destination country, we have the advantages to the cheap labor, because when you get there, because people are there and they must earn living by one way or the other, they are ready to take whatever is offered them. That are all migrating from Nigeria to UK, USA, and so on. So the skilled ones, the destination country will benefit from their skill. Then we have their cultural diversity also, because we go there with our culture and we try to impact our culture on them. Then disadvantage is the job loss, because the locals might now lose their jobs to the immigrants that are ready to take up any job at any price. Then discrimination and racism, the immigrants are usually discriminated against. And we also have the breakdown of culture and tradition because of the mix-up of other tradition coming in. And we have the diseases, because the immigrants might come in with some contagious disease. Then as the whole country, we have the advantages to the remittances. People that travel out, they remit money back to their people in the whole country, and there is higher quality of living, because the people here, there will be not much demand of the services that are available here, and better job prospects for the locals, and the knowledge and the skill flow. And the disadvantages are loss of skilled labor, population and market, because market always strive for population. When most people migrate out of the country, then the market might be affected, and thus affecting the economy. Then social and family, you are disconnected with your family and your friends. So, and the better use for the migrants from the poorest country to developed country, income increases by 15-fold, children education enrollment increased by 2-fold, and a 16-fold reduction in child mortality. Most of my even friends that travel abroad, they migrated abroad, if you ask them, they will say so that their children can have better education and better opportunities in life. Now to cyberspace. Cyberspace definition and layers. There are several definitions to cyberspace as displayed. Oxford Dictionary said it is a notional environment in which communication over computer network occurs. It is also the complex environment resulting from the interaction of people, software, and services on the internet by means of technology devices and networks connected to it, which does not exist in the physical form. From all this, and we also have that it is the realm of electronic communication of a world of information through the internet. From all these definitions, one thing that is clear is that the cyberspace is not physical, it is virtual. And it is only enabled via the internet. Without the internet, there will be no cyberspace. So those are the key things that we need to know. Then the layers, we have 3 layers of cyberspace. So though some people are still proposing a 4th layer, which is the shadow web, but that one is not really popular now. So we have the surface web, which is the clearnet. The surface web is where everybody meets and it is popular. Like you can access it through search engines and like your Google, Yahoo, and so on. Then we have the deep net, which is a layer below the clearnet, and the deep web is not in the search engines, and you only access it by filling of forms and so on. There are some sites that you get to, and you will need to apply. You will need to fill some form, and some form will even insist, like some academic sites, they will even insist that you have to use your organization email before you can access them. Then we have the dark web. The dark web is not in the search engines. The dark web is not in the search engines, and it is the lowest layer of the cyberspace, and it is anonymous because it is deeply encrypted. It is deeply encrypted, and this is, you can only access it through special software like THOR, or and it is highly anonymous because when you are gaining access to it from the clearnet, there will be encryption, and the encryption of the IP address that will go to the deep web, and from there also it will be encrypted before it goes to the dark web. So the dark web does not know the identity of the person that is accessing it, and this level of the cyberspace contains highly criminal activities, criminal requiring highest level of encryption and anonymity. Cyberspace and migration. How does cyberspace now relate to migration? Migration, as we know, is as old as mankind and has always been majorly dependent on information. It has always been dependent on information, maybe what you know about your present residence, or what you know about the destination. So those are the things that will give you the craving to migrate. And with the evolution of the cyberspace and the amplification revolution, because most web pages and websites now have been they have been done in such a way that they can work on our mobile devices. They can now operate on mobile devices and mobile operating systems. So, and we know now that most people are always on smartphones. So this website is available to everybody, and we have unlimited access to the information. So research has shown that there are marked migration advantages to those with both the means to acquire a smartphone and the digital literacy to use it effectively. To the migrants, the cyberspace magnifies and reinforces the pull and push factor by making information available to the migrants at the click of a button. And the cyberspace is an important tool for the virtual discovery of places and influence virtual places for physical mobility. So, in a nutshell, cyberspace stimulates migration by providing easy and quick access to relevant information about destination country, and it also makes it possible for formulation of virtual social network and workplace marketing and so on. The good role now of the cyberspace, the good role is that it can be used for information retrieval, assessing migration opportunities. It decreases the chance of impulsive migration decision, because sometimes by the time you have an information, you might have the mind of going somewhere. By the time you have a reliable information about that place, you might decide that no, that place will not be suitable for me. Use increases in the size, as in the cyberspace, it is increasing as more people are logging on to the internet and using the space, and it enables precise prediction and forecast of increase or decrease of migration flow and insight into how migrants will choose the target country. That means we can use the cyberspace for research about the increase and decrease in migration flow, because all this migration, there is nobody, hardly nobody that migrates these days. Almost nobody migrates these days without leaving a digital signature on the cyberspace, because one way or the other you will get in touch with some people, you will solve the net for some information. So all this can be used for research purposes. It lowers the risk and cost of migration by providing information and travel routes and connecting migrants with organizational infrastructure. By going on the cyberspace, you can see routes on how to go to a particular destination by the use of Google Maps and so on and so forth. It also helps in recognizing undefined horizons and familiarizes users with new places and situation. There are several advantages that the cyberspace offers to migrants, but these are just some of them, and it also strengthens the existing social ties, and it also makes it possible for us to interact with the people that we are leaving behind. It is not like before that you have to buy credit units before you can talk to the people at home or talk to your people abroad. Now via WhatsApp, Facebook video, via Skype, you can talk for unlimited period with your people, and this, knowing that okay, there is a means of communicating with the people you are leaving behind, might even facilitate your desiring to travel. Then we go to the bad, that is the inhibiting role of the cyberspace in migration decision. Cyberspace, as we know, has blurred the geographical boundaries and facilitates cross-border mobility. And because of the virtual connectivity, it has also provided new forms of mobility that have substituted migration. And a typical example of this is video conferencing and this teleseminar that we are having. Now I don't have to travel to UK to deliver at a conference. I can sit in the comfort of my home and deliver conferences and so on. So this has also, in a kind of way, reduced international visits and travels. It is employed in sharing information that can mark the image of a country, and like the xenophobic postings on the cyberspace, which has affected the rate of migration and intentions to the South Africa. It is also used as a tool of political expression against migrants, which results in spoiling of image of a country and also aggravates intercultural exposing behaviors. Some immigrants in some country might start to post some false posting that will discourage others from coming to that country. And sometimes some immigrants, because they want you to believe that they are living fine over there, they might make some rosy posts that is not really depicting their present situation, and this might even still make people to believe that it is good for them to go there. So, all in all, cyberspace it takes the promotion of a stereotype and racism, and migration decision is affected by racism. Migrants develop a tendency to migrate to country on the basis of these racial prejudice and stereotypes. Now we go to the ugly, and the ugly is the migration-related cybercrime. Cyber trafficking, as I have defined it before, then migrant smuggling. Migrant smuggling is getting people into a particular destination or country without the necessary legal documents and via illegal means. And cyber trafficking and migrant smuggling, what is the relationship between them? We can differentiate them based on three parameters: consent, exploitation, and transnationality. Consent in the sense that the smuggling migrants, the migrants that are being smuggled, they will have given their consent. Maybe some people that want to go on exile, they will need the services of these people to smuggle them into a particular country, and they might not have the required paper, so they might need them to forge papers for them or take them via some means that are not legal, maybe by sea, maybe by road or whatsoever. Then, but for cyber trafficking may not necessarily have the consent of the person that is being trafficked. It may have the consent initially, like maybe, for instance, through the that is one of the ugly part, that is one of the bad side of the cyberspace. They might have created some websites that they will say they are immigration they are immigration experts, and they can help you with your travel issues and so on. And you log on to this site believing that they are going to help you legitimately before they now start. So what you gave your consent to initially might not really be what they will now serve you. So that is as per consent. Then exploitation. With migrant smuggling, the exploitation ends at the point of entry into the destination country. But with cyber trafficking, it does not end there, because cyber trafficking, it involves the ongoing exploitation of the victim in some manner to generate illicit profit for the traffickers. And from a practical standpoint, victims of trafficking also tend to be affected more severely and to be in a greater need of protection from re-victimization and other forms of further abuse than the smuggled migrants. Also, transnationality. In transnationality, migrant smuggling require moving the migrant from one place to the other. It requires crossing of borders, whereas in trafficking, it may not really require crossing of borders. It can occur regardless of whether the victim is taken to another state or only moved from one place to another within the same state. And even with the ongoing activities on the cyberspace now, there is cyber sex where the victims are made to make love with people that are in other countries via this same means that we are having this seminar now, via the cyberspace. And the victim might not necessarily live where he or she is living before she can be trafficked for cyber sex. This is a picture of some returnees from Libya in Port Harcourt, Ashram, and continue with the ugly side of the of the cyberspace, where the cyber trafficking, there are three activities that they use it for: in recruiting the victims, in advertising, and also in selling and delivering the victims' services. These are what they use them for. And in recruiting, they go from the clear net to the dark web. As in, it might just be on a social media that they will make your contact, get one or two facts about you, start interacting with you, and then lure you from that clear net to another place where some of the activities might not really be visible, and by then they will have done one or two things about you and lure you into one or two things that they will not be using to victimize you, and you cannot but do as they will. And it also requires from migrant smuggling, we can use cyberspace to forge some paper, to undermine protocols at the border, and determine best means and the best time of illegal entry. And human trafficking, and now human trafficking is moving to the cyber, so they use cyber for most of this human trafficking. So sometimes I might use cyber trafficking and human trafficking interchangeably. So this is an activity that is often highly organized. And after arms and drugs, human trafficking is the third most widespread form of and it generates about 32 billion euros in a year, according to the United Nations 2013. And estimates suggest that internationally, only about 0.04% of survival of cyber trafficking cases are identified, meaning that the vast majority of cases of cyber trafficking go undetected. And advocates also report that a growing trend of traffickers using online social media platforms to recruit and advertise targets of human trafficking. And the dangers of irregular migration, especially in migrant smuggling, one of the dangers is that most of these migrants, they die in the process. They suffer several abuse, and many of them die in the process. This map shows missing migrants, and since 2014, more than 4,000 fatalities have been recorded annually on migratory routes worldwide. And the number of deaths recorded, however, represents only a minimum estimate, because the majority of migrant deaths around the world go unrecorded. So what are the attractions of cyberspace to traffickers? Because it is difficult in tracing, since criminals can operate in many countries. I can be here and I'll be operating in many countries, and the digital traces are difficult to track. Inability of the victims to denounce the perpetrators because their identity might be unknown to them. In most cases, you cannot even put a face or any identity to the person that is trafficking you. So you cannot really give the person up. And also high profitability of the crime in relation to the investment required, and the lack of appropriate state policy and legislation, and lack of uniform international legislation on trafficking and cyber crimes that creates a problem not only in prosecution but in jurisdiction in general. The challenges of in prosecuting cybercrime, there are about 4 challenges: the legal challenges, the ethical challenges, the operational challenges, and the privacy and the data concerns. The legal challenges is about, even when you make a report of these activities, can you get justice? And to get justice, because it takes place in the cyber, and most of the evidences you are going to give will be cyber related also. And as now, the court is usually skeptical about the evidence, about cyber evidences, because they say that the cases that exist, they lack any authenticity or trustworthiness. Because in one case in Texas, it involves human trafficking through the use of internet, and the court held that plaintiff electronic evidence is totally insufficient to withstand the vendor's motion to dismiss. While some look to the internet as an innovative vehicle for communication, the court continues to warily view it largely as one catalyst for rumor, innuendo, and misinformation. The ethical challenges. Law enforcement handles and analyze and interprets. Beyond the law enforcement, ethical challenges arise in individual, group, companies, organizations, and governments' use of information and communication technology. For example, ethical conduct using ICT involves refraining from harming others, systems, and data, and respecting the rule of law and human rights. But revelation brought up the lesson that attention needed to be paid to ethical use involving data collection and use of social media platform, because you might be harvesting more information than you needed, and it might border on a privacy intrusion on the part of the victim and even the trafficker. Then there is the operational challenges, and one key operational challenge with cybercrime investigation is in relation to cooperation with other countries. International cooperation in cybercrime investigation require harmonized laws between cooperating countries, and tools such as mutual legal treaties needs to be put in place. And also under the ethical challenges, sometimes when you even go through the ethical when you stick to the ethical laws, sometimes it will time a wait to get information from another country. The time might delay the justice that you require. Then there is a privacy and data concerns. Collection of personal data from those affected by trafficking and smuggling may go beyond the required specific for a criminal investigation or mutual transnational assistance, compromising the privacy of traffic and smuggled persons, including their personal data. And this graph is just to illustrate the danger that most cyber crime go without justice being served. If we look at this graph, we'll see that the cases that were registered with the police, if you look at it, the cases that were registered with the police is far higher than the number of persons that were even arrested, talk less of serving justice. You will see that the number of persons arrested concerning the cases is far below the cases that were registered. And also here, we can see that this is a police reported cybercrime in Canada in 2012. And if you look at that graph, we can see all forms of cyber crimes that are there. And we can see the red is for the not cleared, and the light blue is for cleared charge. And we can see that the not cleared charge is far above the cleared charge. So this shows us that most of the crimes that occurs in the cyberspace go without justice being served because of the issues we have earlier discussed. Opportunities. There is need for the establishment of governmental agencies, legal framework, and cyber to prevent, investigate, codify, arrest, and prosecute cybercrime to coordinate the following: victim-centered research. However, even though cyber trafficking has increasingly become a topical issue in the research of trafficking and cybercrime, there is surprisingly lack of research about victim protection in cyber trafficking cases. Also, the need for empirical and legal research is also pressing. How can cyber victims be detected and identified? How to protect and support these victims? Do they have other needs than victims of offline trafficking? If the trafficking itself takes place online, is there a possibility for online victim protection as well? For a victim center, from a victim-centered, human rights-based view, this should be some of the guiding questions for future research. There is also the need for e-evidence. Crime leaves digital traces that can serve as evidence in court proceedings. Often it will be the only lead law enforcement authorities and prosecutors can collect. Therefore, effective mechanism to obtain digital evidence of the essence. However, present-day solutions too often prove unsatisfactory, bringing investigations to a halt. Way forward, establishment of new groups to monitor and provide accountability at a global effort. This is especially important as no one group owns the internet. In January 2014, the Global Commission on Internet Governance was established to articulate an advanced strategic vision for the future of internet governance. Its key focus include ensuring human rights online, freedom of expression, and cybercrime cooperation. Human trafficking cannot be fought solely on a legal and technical base. Prevention efforts also need to focus on the intersection of the intergovernmental cooperation, social engineering, and technology. There is also a need for multidisciplinary research into developing cyber security tools that will sanitize the cyberspace, tools to monitor cyber activities such that the target do not become victim, a worldwide all-encompassing database of cyber activities that can be mined for forensic evidence of cybercrime, tools that can be used to forensically trace cyber footprints of criminals, and the data analytics tools that address the data vacuum surrounding cybercrime, starting with the victims. Conclusion. Just as migration is as old as man and will subsist as long as man exists, cyberspace also has come to stay, and the number of persons meeting in cyberspace and utilizing the cyberspace for migration purposes will continue to grow by leaps and bounds. It's in as much as the cyberspace open a new world of information, means, opportunities, and advantages to migrants. There is need to protect migrants from the bad and dark side of the cyberspace and save them from being exploited and eventually becoming victims of cyber criminals. Emerging technologies give rise to a new challenge in fighting cyber traffic and migrant smugglling. Though the cyberspace offers new ways and opportunities to commit migration-related cybercrime, such as human trafficking, it also offers opportunity to campaign against such crime and to provide knowledge about the dangers of such cybercrimes as it impacts the victim. It also offers the ability to proactively monitor and prevent these events before targets or migrants become victims. And when we are making such adverts, it should be in such a language that the victims understand and know that help is there for them. The information security implications of these technologies are areas of active research, and methodologies for protecting victims from migration-related cybercrime are still evolving. In the interim, collaborative research is critical to the development of security models that sanitizes the cyberspace and protect victims of such cybercrime, while at the same time developing electronic forensic evidence of cyber trafficking, migrant smuggling activities that will stand motions to dismiss in the legal tribunal around the world. Recommendations. Global government collaboration is required for international, national, and domestic law, and the accountability of cyberspace usage. Anti-trafficking groups need to be included in the discussion for internet governance, as they can contribute to the profiling of traffickers with their wealth of information and can help to identify trends in keywords. Internet governance needs to be guided by an understanding of the human side of the security. There is need to further research the role of social network sites and online apps in migration. Although internet classified as already have come under intense scrutiny, the role of social networking sites and online classified as yet to be fully researched. Use of the cyberspace to further create awareness of the dangers lurking in the cyberspace and also provide migrants with information on the protection, assistance, and other services that are available to them. These are some of the references that were used. Acknowledgements. I acknowledge the visionary leadership of the university management in the establishment of the Center of Excellence for Migration and Global Studies in NOUN, and also the passion of the pioneer director, CEMGS, in organizing, coordinating, and directing the affairs of the center, and for the opportunity given me to share my little knowledge on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Afolarunsho. May I humbly apologize for the in and out break during the presentation. I think we mistakenly at our end signed in twice, and that is why I was in and out. I don't know whether you also experienced that. But having listened to Dr. Afolarunsho, may I now open the space, the cyberspace, for comments and questions. I think the first person that I saw raising up his hand is Professor Eya. And what I will do is that I will unmute everyone. Please, if you know you have a terrible background, just mute yourself. I don't want to lose us. So, Professor Eya.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. I want to check the presenter. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. I say that I want to first of all appreciate the presenter. It was very distinct and I was hearing her very well.
I didn't hear.
Didn't hear?
I didn't hear.
Ignore that. Ignore that. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
As there is a place she said that do not know who is trafficking you. I didn't understand what you mean by that. If you are being trafficked, you don't know who is trafficking you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'll
right.
call on Professor Iyabode Umakwese.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Prof, you can go ahead now.
Okay. My own.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering again because I'm seeing one 2014, some 2013, and I'm wondering whether this data as used as relevant to the discussion now. So whether those things that happened then is still the trend, or has there been a shift? Has there been a change? So that's just what I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Dr. Orie, can you go ahead with your comment and question? Dr. Erima.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Good morning.
We are hearing you. Go ahead.
Thank you, every presenter, for a well-researched and well-presented paper. My observation, first of all, you said human trafficking, that is the human trafficking, the exploitation of the human trafficked person ends at the point where he enters the country. Unlike, and that the cyber trafficked person, the exploitation continues. And I want some an explanation on that, because I was thinking that for both of them, the exploitation still continues, because I know that people, when they assist another person to enter the country, some of the victims, they do not receive their pay for so many months. Some will get half pay, they will pay them half, or some they will tell them they will do a particular job until they're able to complete either the money they use in paying for their access into the country and things like that. So I'll need a further explanation on that, because I think that for both of them, the exploitation still continues. Then secondly, I was looking at the role of consent in vitiating the investigations and subsequent prosecution in court? Because I know that for many of them, consent of the victim plays a major role. So once it's discovered that the person had consented at the onset, it doesn't matter that in the middle, maybe he realized that, oh, he's been shortchanged or whatever, or and then he wants to opt out. Because in law, once there is an initial consent, you have an overbearing, you need an overbearing evidence to prove that you have withdrawn that consent. Otherwise, it is very difficult, extremely difficult for any case to succeed in court. So that will account for some cases that you see in court. You see that either they drop the investigation or it will not succeed in court. So I want you to probably clarify that or explain the role of that consent in vitiating such legal investigations and court prosecutions.
Dr. Umubere.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. First of all, I didn't hear very well. I don't know what happened today, whether from here or from that end. But one of the PowerPoints, I saw in one of the PowerPoints under, I can't remember exactly under what, that both for the host country and for the country where the immigrant is coming from, that cheap labor is an advantage. So I don't understand how that will be an advantage for the immigrant country. Please, I will need explanation on that.
Thank you very much. We'll take Dr. Yobode and then we'll allow Dr. Afolorunso to respond. Dr. Yobode, please.
Okay, thank you, the presenter. I just want to add that you may like to look at the issue of terrorism, cybercrime, and migration, because we have seen in literature and even empirical evidences that migrants support terrorists, and they use this, I mean, they do this support through the use of cyberspace in funding and equipping and even in passing information to them. So I have not heard you talk about that. So I think you can add that to enrich the paper to see how migrants, terrorism, and cyberspace can be connected in the festering terrorism and militancy in some parts of the world. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I can see one more hand up, but before I call that person, I can see that hand up, but before I call him, let me also ask this question of the presenter. What is the place of the back end in cyber migration, at least in the artificial context, the place of the back end? You know, if you have any space for that. And then lastly, the VC has been raising his hand up, so we'll have his question, and then Dr. Afolorunso can respond to all together. Let me unmute the Vice Chancellor, just 1 second. Okay. The VC, sir.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. I was there at the very beginning. I just don't want to be conspicuous. My observations are many on this particular paper, and like some of the papers that I have heard, it seems to me that we lack a clear framework, clear understanding of exactly what we are dealing with. There is a confusion between cyberspace and spatial space. Most of the examples she gave were not from cyberspace, but from spatial space, normal space. All those pictures of living immigrants at Port Harcourt, Hajj camp, eating rice and things like that are not cyberspace, something like that. And also her definition of cyberspace ought to have been more academic rather than dictionary definition. In academic research, you don't accept dictionary definition. That's linguistic. What we accept is a definition that is based on research by a researcher, which has been peer reviewed and which has been accepted, and therefore has a currency of validity rather than just simply saying according to Oxford Dictionary or according to online dictionary or according to that one. So please, let us avoid all these dictionary definitions of things. Those are linguistic, but they're not operational. They don't deal with the operation. And I still did not see how cyberspace itself manifests itself as a critical variable in migration of people in the paper. I did not see. Is there a recruitment point where people are recruited so that they can go from one place to another? What is the website? What are the screenshots of that particular website? I think the last speaker, Oyebode or something, mentioned a very, very critical point. ISIS, Boko Haram, and other insurgencies use the internet in order to recruit people. We would like to see examples of those. How those people, because when you move from one place to another, you're a migrant. So how do they recruit people to that place? We have seen cases of Nigerians using cyberspace to dupe women. But it's not just the duping women, but the idea that Americans can marry Nigerians and Nigerians want to use that as a basis for movement. In Kano, for instance, some months ago, there was this lady who fell in love with a boy from Kano. He's not really from Kano, he was from Edo State, but he was born in Kano. And she moved from America to Kano. She said she would love to marry him, and then she will take him back to America. I mean, these are the kind of examples we would like to see. A lot of all the narratives that we have seen are just prose narratives about what migration is and what cyberspace is, but there is no correlation, no relationship, no link between actual migration itself and cyberspace as a node. Cyberspace as a node of recruitment, cyberspace as a node of movement of people. And there are no specific examples. We do not see specific examples of how cyberspace is used to move people from one place to another. For instance, one place, one node, one cyberspace location is used as a gathering point to take people from one place to another. And she talked about regulation, that there should be a regulation of cyberspace and so on and so forth. FBI, CIA, MI5, MI6, Mossad, and all that. They have been very, very active in monitoring cyberspace to see who is recruiting who and who is trafficking who. We need to see examples of those efforts that are made by law enforcement agencies in order to stem migration and to determine where the migration is coming from. So she's also talking about crime and migration. I can stay right here in my room and commit a lot of cyber crime. That does not make me a migrant. So what's the relationship between crimes and migration? Unless the criminals move physically from where they are to where they commit the crime, they're not migrants. You can stay in Lagos and commit a lot of crime. People have been doing that for a very long time. That's why they even coined the term Yahoo boys. They don't have to move anywhere. But the money they make, it's been shifted. So who is the migrant here? The person who committed the cyber crime, the person who is the victim, or the money that is moving? So we need to focus on that. And finally, this is something which a lot of people will not agree with me. And I like to be disagreed with. I don't want people to agree with me. I always want people to disagree with me. I don't like recommendations. What I recommend? Recommending for what? For who? Okay? When you write a paper and begin to say recommendation, that's not a research paper. You are not a government worker that have been asked to write a report on how to improve a particular branch or a particular department or a particular unit, and you are given a recommendation. You are making a research, and a lot of that research is subjective, not objective. It reflects your own personal perspective. So who are you recommending? To what? Recommendations are very, very subjective. And in most cases, that the recommendations are not even based on the paper. So go to ProQuest. That is where PhD dissertations are kept. Look at the PhD dissertations from the United States. Many of them, as much as 95% of them, don't have recommendations. We don't favor recommendations because recommendations are subjective. Who are you recommending? To who? Who is going to implement it? But your purpose, your job as a researcher, as a scientist, is to identify dependent variable and independent variable, and see the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor, for that useful comment. I would like to take these 4 hands, before you respond, Dr. Afolorunso, in this order. I'll call Dr. Ngozi. You are on mute. Dr. Adams will follow also in that order, and Dr. Amushan, and then Professor Bewaji in that order. So I will unmute all of you. Thank you. 1 minute, please. Dr. Ngozi, Apala something, or something. Dr. Ngozi, are you there?
Okay. Yes. So I'm there, sir. Hello? I'm there.
1 minute. Kindly go ahead with your question. You are on mute. Okay, we can't hear her. Can we go to Dr. Adams, Adeola Adams?
Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. Let me join others to appreciate the for tuning up from highly. I think some of the problem that we're raising about this paper has to do with the focus, of the it's not well utilized. And just like your body and the VC rightly said, we couldn't really draw, concrete issues from our own peculiar environment, how protected Nigeria, most especially. Ask the presenter, to situate the paper within a particular social context, so that we know how it affected that environment, and this will help her to be able to draw concrete examples, in order to articulate some of the points that she had. If you look at some of the data she presented, I mean, I couldn't really relate to them because never gotten from there. We don't really have concrete data from Nigeria for us to know how it affected us. So let me quickly react to what the Vice Chancellor said, that we don't really need recommendation. Well, I would call recommendations the icing, of the cake. That's the icing of the cake. Well, if you are a scholar and you want to deal with just the scientific aspect of the paper, then you go along with it. We don't know how far this paper can go. There are people in authorities, there are policymakers who can stumble on this paper anytime. And I think scientific paper of this nature can go far and near. So when public policymakers, when they stumble on it, I think recommendation will some extent guide them to be to know what are the issues that can be.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dr. Adams. Can we listen to Dr. Amushan?
Prof, if you can hear me, can I make my little contribution?
Okay, who is this? Is this
Dr. Ngozi Akpala Okorafo?
Please go ahead. We've been waiting to hear you. Please, ma, go ahead.
Okay, I want to at least encourage, thank the presenter and encourage her. I also would like to say that what the VC has pointed out are very, 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 very crucial. Now, the point I was going to make, the VC has touched on some of them. Now, the example that the presenter gave, some of the examples are really very difficult to place in the context of migration. That brings to the fore, once again, the need for us to have a conceptual framework. What exactly is our definition of migration? Because if examples are given of people using the cyberspace to defraud people and all that, it's not migration. So how does that come in? can we go back to where we started from with all the contributions we made as regards the definition of migration, so that when people are presenting their papers, they are working on their papers, they have a conceptual framework within which to work, so that we don't come presenting papers on a single platform where you have all manner of definitions and divergent conceptual frameworks and understanding of the migration.
Thank you very much. Dr. Amushan. Dr. Amushan, are you
that
there?
Will be my major contribution to this discussion.
Thank you. Dr. Amushan, are you there? You still want to contribute?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, go ahead,
please. My name is Mr. Kunle Amushan, the student counselor. My question is the challenges in prosecuting cybercrime. I can see the last point, the point is privacy and data concern. I am not all that clear about what the presenter is talking about. I see this point as two different points entirely. That is privacy entirely and data entirely. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Afolonusho, you have the floor to respond, please, so that we can round up. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Wait. Professor Bewaji, I'm so sorry. Please, you have the floor.
Yes, good morning from here.
Morning, sir.
The Vice Chancellor has pointed out the first point I would like to make is about migration. And I noted ambiguities and spatial relativities. For example, when I receive scam messages in my location here, at times people think those scam messages are coming from Nigerians. We've had to take advertisement in newspapers and in the media to advise the public here that at times people are in Europe, they are in Senegal, they're everywhere, and they are posting as if they are Nigerians trying to engage in cyber scam, all those things. Second, when the presenter spoke about trafficking, I said there is also ambiguity there because trafficking could be in humans, it could be in information, it could be in misinformation, it could be in disinformation. It could also be in data. The challenge I see is the conflation of the meaning and the application of trafficking. Then there are also challenges which she formulated. For example, the vulnerabilities are exposed by unsuspecting, especially the youth, who on the social media, they have all kinds of information that they display about themselves, which allow people to criminals to actually track them and to be able to expose them to dangers. Then the fourth thing I wanted to comment on within my 1 minute is you have internet providers and internet users. And the question is, what is the role of legal regulation within the jurisdictions? While it is possible for China to block Facebook and various other media, Nigeria, do we have resources to adequately protect our citizens? And then one final minor observation. I say that the research could have been focused on Nigeria or West Africa or Africa instead of making it a global thing. Because when you contextualize, you are able to better understand how it relates to the local environment. And, those are my comments.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much. Let me quickly say that all presentations are recorded and they are also on YouTube. So if you like to go ahead and review and then listen to it again, you are more than welcome. And they are not passworded. They are open access. Also, we do send, the PowerPoint to all of us. And if you are not on the center's Telegram or WhatsApp, please just email me or chat with me, and then we can add you and you get the copy. Dr. Afolonsho, kindly respond and then we can close. Thank you, man. Dr. Afolonsho. Just one sec. I don't know how you. Okay, Dr. Afolonsho, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your responses, comments, and questions. The first question about the victim not knowing who is trafficking them. This is because in the cyberspace, I can easily hide my true identity and operate anonymously. I can operate anonymously. We've seen cases where people use other people's pictures as their profile picture, and they even use other people's name to do their nefarious activities. And like I said before, this thing might start from the clearnet, but later it will move to the dark web. And in the dark web, there is anonymity, so you might not even really know who is trafficking you. It is not like a face-to-face that you will know that, okay, it is a Dr. Afolonsho that I interacted. Then there is has there been any change in the trend based on the data displayed? No. The only trend that has been is that the cybercrime has increased in magnitude, but compared to the number of cases that get cleared, it is still very, very low. Concerning human trafficking and smuggled migrants, I was talking about exploitation. I didn't say that the human trafficking, that the exploitation ends at the point of entry. What I said was that for the smuggled migrants that seek the services of the smuggler to smuggle him or her into a country, it might be that by the time you enter, that will be the end of it. The contract has stopped. But in the case of trafficking, because you are being trafficked for gain and exploitation, the exploitation does not end at the point of entry. So it is the smuggled services of these people to be smuggled illegally into the country. Then the role of consent. Well, I am not a lawyer, and like I explained, for a smuggled migrant, you will have given your consent. You are asking for their services to do something for you. But for the victim of trafficking, what they advertise might not be what they will serve you. You are getting from them, whereas they are just disguising under that, because there are several websites that will advertise jobs and whatever, and they will recruit you for something else. So even though you give your consent initially based on the fact that this is what you want to get from them, but like the lawyer has said, he said consent is consent at any point. So whether you give it, not knowing what you are getting into or not, and maybe in case of most of this cyber crime. Then cheap labor, what I said was that because when you get there, and it is not that you have already secured a job here before you go. Once you get there, for survival reason, you might be ready to take whatever is offered you. So it is at the destination country that we have cheap labor. At the home country, there will be opening for jobs. There will be opening for jobs. That is what we will have. We have openings for jobs because most of the skilled labor might have left the country, so there will be job open for other locals that remain. I have noted the issue of terrorism, the cyber terrorism, which is also a cyber crime, and I'll relate it to migration in the final paper. My director asked the place of the back end in cyber trafficking. I don't understand that back end. I don't understand. What do you mean by back end? Sir?
I will respond privately.
Okay.
Is that the last comment?
That is the no. There is still the issue of privacy and data concerns, and somebody was saying they are not related. They are related because once you want to get enough data about a case, you dig for information about a case. You might dig as many information as even the victim or the trafficker can come back as a backlash and sue you for intruding on their privacy. So that is how privacy and data are related. And situating the research within an environment that will be looked into. It is just that in Nigeria, we don't really have a good record. We don't even have good habits of record keeping, and most of these things they go unrecorded. But maybe West Africa, that will be looked into. And somebody was talking. I think it was the PC that was talking about migration, where I sit in my room and I am now committing crime all over, maybe money laundering. In this paper, what we were looking at is how the cyberspace is aiding or inhibiting the migration of people from one place to the other. So the angle I looked at it is, yes, I might be here and be a trafficker, and the migration aspect now is concerning the person I am trafficking. Is the person that is desirous of migrating to another country. It is the person, even if I am exploiting the person, it is the person that I want to exploit, even though the person believes that he is doing a legitimate business with me. At the back of my mind, I want to exploit the person and traffic the person. So the person is the migrant in this context. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Folorunso. I want to thank you for your audacity to take up the challenge. Let me quickly say that the presentation thus far, since we started in March, has been voluntary. We commend the audacity of all the presenters to share their intellectual property with us. The center also thank all of you for finding the time every Monday to join us and also contribute. We know that you could have been doing something else. We sincerely appreciate you. Let me say that this is the last presentation for May. The June presentations is also filled up. On June 1st, we will be having Dr. Adegoke of CSS. June 8th, we'll be having Dr. Ebeli, HOD Political Science. June 15th, we will be having Dr. Oyebode. June 22nd, we will have Dr. Erima Orie. And then, of course, end of June, we will have Professor Lunge from American University, who has also volunteered to give us a paper. Kindly get with us if you would like to present a paper. We are not forcing anybody, but we appreciate you volunteering to share your knowledge with us, and let us continue to rub minds. If your paper, you feel you would like to submit it for peer review, please kindly do so, because as you know, the center will also be publishing occasional papers series. as well as journal articles. We are working on that, and I will give details as we get to that, a more comfortable timeline to tell you what exactly is expected, but they will be peer reviewed. Again, I thank you on behalf of staff and members of the Center of Excellence in Migration and Global Studies. We appreciate you. We continue to pray that the Lord of hosts will bless you and increase your knowledge. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Prof. Bye. See you next Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.